So this is day one of building a school community from absolute scratch. The thing is, I already have one, which is the free community, but now I've just paid for the first payment of the paid community, which has nothing in there. It's empty. It's only got one video in there, and there's 5 founding members inside. And anyone that does one-on-one with me this year is going to be inside as well, and there'll be lifetime access for the ones that get in there for the one-on-ones with me. I'm currently doing the one-on-ones with everyone that's in there so far. So there's 5 people in there that I'll just be really focusing on, just really supporting them through their goals and them helping me to build this community from absolute scratch. It's called ADHD School for Entrepreneurs, and I plan to launch it officially, depending on how well I do with my goals this year. Maybe the end of the month it could happen, or it might happen in November. It all comes down to when I'm prepared to actually do the webinar. But the key thing that I want to do on this series is I want it to be very transparent, very raw, very just like how it really is. Like, you know, some people will say, oh yeah, look, so I've got this win, like I've got my first 1,000 for my business or this, that, but like what happened between when you had 0 and that 1,000? Like what happened in between that gap, like that moment? And that's really what I want to be documenting, is that I've made, I think, about $20 in the last 3 months, and I've spent more than that on this business. So I'm not actually in the positive. I'm not in net positive in terms of what I've invested and what I've got back, right? But that's not what the point is. Like what this journey is going to be about is, what am I putting my money into that's going to help me to double, triple, maybe even 5 or 10x my money? Like what is those ways that I'm going to create an income, right? And it's all going to be through mentors, basically. So there's a few people that I think by working with will take my business to the next level, and I'm betting on them. Obviously, it's like the stock market. I've mentioned in the video before that, you know, I could put money into Bitcoin and it might go really crazy in the next 3 to 6 months, and yeah, like there's gonna be a bull run and all this stuff. But like with all the money I put into crypto, like is it gonna make 10K in the next 3 to 6 months? I just don't know. I just don't think so. And even if it was, I'd have to be really attentive to just looking at, yeah, okay, I better sell now and all this stuff, right? Um, and I don't really get a skill set from that. Whereas if I were to work with someone and I put that money into them and they teach me a new skill set, they show me how to do certain things that are going to help my business grow and make a difference to it, and then I make money from that, and then I just get to just double down on that concept, I could then make more and more and more from that investment. That initial investment is that much. I've got the skill set now, and then now I could use that skill set to make more money, right? And that for me is just a much better direction. So the real thing that's going to be happening here is that it's going to be a lot of freestyling. These videos in particular, I do not care what views it gets, 4 views, 5 views. I won't care less, right? But what these videos are here to do is just to show you what's actually going on and what's going through my mind, what's the thought process. And currently, I'm just really realizing a few things about my journey that I, you know, if I wasn't on Skool, maybe this wouldn't be my mindset at the moment. So I think what Skool does for you is spelled Skool. For anyone that doesn't know about Skool, is the education platform. What it does is it allows you to connect with your audience and your target audience, and create a user experience that could be really, really beneficial for them and gamified as well. So my community is obviously the ADHD community, and we want to tackle managing ADHD better, right? So that's the theme. Right? That's the whole reason why people have joined, because that's what the promise is, right? Now, what I do is, because I have ADHD, and when I was diagnosed, I just really dug deep into a lot of the topics that I was struggling with. So some of the traits that I struggle with the most, I was just, you know, tackling them head on, and I was just researching. I was finding out, how can I manage that better. I was, just testing out different methods, and I found things that work for me, right? And to this day, I'm still looking at things that could help me in other areas, and that I'm not perfect, but I just am able to be a bit more compassionate with myself in this process. Whereas before, it wasn't compassion; it was more self-sabotage, right? So the whole theme of this journey that I've been documenting is it's all to do with, I was a certain way before the diagnosis, and I'm a certain way now. And the way that I am now is all been based on my perspective on who I am to the world, right? And why I am the way I am. And when I discovered that I had ADHD, it just helped me to understand myself so much more. So then the decisions that I make, I'm okay with them. And if they are the wrong decisions, like maybe I make a wrong decision on a particular situation, I could still have a bit of compassion for myself and say, do you know what, at least you've learned this, or at least you learned that. So I think it's a very good sign. I think things have just gone really fast for me. I mean, we're at 200 and was it 233 members in the community right now, for the free community, and and yeah, I'm building the paid community as we speak right now. This is day one, like I said. So, um, what's the action plan? Where do we go from here? So, every day, I want to have a morning routine, and I want to make sure that the morning routine is not too rigid. Like, oh yes, I have to do this every day. Like, I want it to be the least amount of things as possible in that morning, and it to be quite flexible. But there's just things that just are required. Uh, One of those things is, as soon as I've dropped my daughter off to school, I I record a video, and I record a video of how my morning is, or what my plan is for that day in particular, right? Or the aftermath of the morning, and how the morning, what I've done with that morning slot that I have, because I can only really basically do a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about in the mornings. So I'd have to wake up early and go for a walk, come back, get ready. My daughter wakes up, I get her ready, she has breakfast, I take her to school, and then I go to work, right? In between her taking her to school and going to work, there's about an hour, possibly an hour and a half, until I can start my shift. So that window I need to use really wisely now for the next 90 days. Uh, I finish at 6. So when I finish at 6, I might potentially have an hour after I finish at 6. That's if I just say, like, sorry babe, but I've got this call I need to do, or there's just going to be a couple of moments where I just have to say, look, like, I've got this call coming up, or I've got a client that I've got to work with, because this time works best for them. I'd only really know if I'll be doing more evenings, based on what the calendar allows for me to work with people. But at the moment, I'm just looking at, it's just going to be jam packed for me. It's like I'm working full time. I'm a manager. I've got 11 people on my team. My team are a pretty solid team, so it just helps a little bit that they're solid, and that there's not too much overwhelming things taking place in my role, right? There are still a lot of things for me to do, but it's like it could be far worse. It could be a lot worse, right? And trying to build this, you could say, six-figure business, right? That's kind of the direction I want to go with this. Is I want it to be a six-figure business at least. So doing this on the side is very challenging, but I've found that there's a few people that I want to work with long term, and I hope that we can build this community together from the ground up. And I've selected them. I trust them. I just know that they're going to be a good part of this vision that I have. And I'm just literally just every single penny that comes out of my wages, apart from obviously I've got to pay my rent, not rent, so mortgage and bills and stuff. Like, but after that, like the rest of the money just goes into this business, and it just keeps going into it, and it just keeps going into it until I'm making the income that I said I wanted to make. So I'm new on it, but at 11-minute mark, I'm shattered. I really didn't want to do this video, but the good thing that I can get from this is that probably no one's going to watch this video, and they're probably going to watch, I don't know, the ones that are later on in the journey where it's a bit more exciting. There's a bit more things spoken about that have been achieved and things that can actually help other people. But this is more like an introduction of the person behind it all. But I honestly don't see this getting very much views at all, and like the expectation for me is that this series is not going to get any views at all, and it's fine. It's going to be uploaded. All this thumbnail stuff, just not going to be bothered about it. The title is just going to say day 1 of 90. Like, it might have ADHD in the title, so people know it's ADHD related. But it's just really just getting used to creating videos every day, and then also the video quality is going to be better because I'm going to do it at a time where it's more convenient. Like right now, this is not the best time for me to record, but I said I was going to post today. I said I was going to do it. So that's this the thing for me. It's just that as terrible as this video is I just have to do it. And it is what it is. And then tomorrow I try and improve from this, and I don't think that's going to be very hard because this is a terrible video, right? And then, next day I do it again, and the real incentive here is that I basically have a theme and a topic that I want to talk about for that day, and I make sure that I deliver and I show up and I do it right. But this community is going to be all about. I've thought of a name for the course that I want to do, and the course for the inside the free community is going to be called The Subtle Art of Managing ADHD. And it's because I really see it as such a subtle thing that we just need to shift in our daily lives that could make a massive difference to everything, right? But it's just that we have so much distractions. There's so many people trying to grab our attention. They want us to buy their product. There's this going on over there. There's that going on over there. There's people that don't understand us. They think that we're lazy. There's people that are there that think we're weird, and this we're anxious in this environment because this environment just doesn't fit for the person that we are. And there's a lot going on, and there's this idea that I have to do this, but how much time do I have to do that? And yeah, like there's just all of that happening, right? And while that's all happening, there's just these very small, tiny little tweaks that we could do in our life that's just gonna just make a massive difference. And it's being able to execute on that idea of it just being really subtle and